Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to an Access show covering survival MMO news today with Raw. You guys are messaging me and telling me about this game a little while ago. I showed you it on one of my Access shows briefly, taking a look at a huge survival MMO that promised that you could be a cop, you could be a robber, you could run your own business, it could be a legal, basically a whole world that you could run around, a realistic survival MMO style like sim game. It looked massive, it looked fantastic, the trailer looked pretty good as well considering from an unknown group of developers. And of course it did seem too good to be true. Jumping on the Kickstarter, they only wanted a small tiny amount of money that was never going to be enough to complete this game. Yet the goals and promises from that Kickstarter suggested it could do. Well, why is it news? Well, I didn't really want to cover this till I got some more information about it coming to an actual PC properly or some sort of way that it was going to be picked up by a bigger publisher, because it just simply was a pie-eyed dream. And it seems that Kickstarter agree. They have shut down for deceptive practices. This is the message that backers of the game received earlier on today. Now, it hasn't been cancelled completely, it's been suspended for the moment, and the reason it has been because it doesn't meet their criteria for their projects, being a creator or someone directly related to them posting as an independent party to create the illusion of support in project comments or elsewhere, appropriating someone else's biography or falsifying identity, and misrepresenting or failing to disclose relevant facts about the project or its creator. As a result, all funding has been stopped and backers will not be charged for their pledges. No further action is required on your part. We take the integrity of Kickstarter systems very seriously. We only suspend projects when we find strong evidence that they're misrepresenting themselves or otherwise violating the letter or spirit of Kickstarter's rules. As a policy, we do not offer comment on project suspensions beyond what is stated in this message. So that's pretty wild. PC Games have picked up on this story as well, and the devs have issued a few various updates or replies. Now, Raw had met its pledge funding goal, but it also received a lot more than that. So many people saying the project was way too ambitious for the amount of money they were asking for. $62,000 to get a game with this type of ambition is absolutely crazy. Now, they're using pretty much wholesale placeholders inside this video, and that's not necessarily a problem. We all know about third market rip-offs or basically recycling assets and pretending it's actually a fully fledged game. But when a developer can show the assets that are coming along it's working on itself and that they'll be replaced by their own art team and their own stuff they've got going on, or if they've got underlying systems in place that are original, I've not really got too much of a problem with reusing assets or buying assets directly from stores. But nevertheless, $60,000 to carry on working on this game was just a crazy, silly amount. So that was the message that everyone who received who backed it earlier today, and Kickstarter have gone one further and actually announced more details on why they suspended Raw. Our rules and guidelines ask that creators seek to raise the amount of money needed to bring a project to completion and fulfill all rewards. A Kickstarter representative tells us this creator stated in an update that they would need to raise additional funds outside of Kickstarter to complete the game. We require projects to be honest and clearly represented, and this project failed to meet that standard. This is in reference to a FAQ from developers where they say yes, a game cannot be made for 70k, but nobody said that this money is all that we have. We have other sources of funding too. In a message on the game's official Discord, developers say there were no warnings ahead of the Kickstarter suspension. They received a message similar to the one backers did, in which Kickstarter simply runs down the reasons a campaign may be suspended. The developers say we are very disappointed but not broken and will continue to seek funding elsewhere. Indiegogo can become one of those solutions. The second solution is to make it through our website. So it's not unheard of. What they're doing in an essential way is getting noise, getting a proof of concept going. That small amount, 60k, may be able to help them do that a little bit more. And then hopefully they're going to get picked up by a publisher and they'll carry on getting outside investors, etc, etc. Other games have done this in the past, including Shenmue. But the fact is that Shenmue 3 stated that's exactly what it was doing. It was putting itself in the window. It was going to raise some funds as a proof of concept. And so with that proof of concept, they could then hopefully get publishing support, which they eventually did. They ended up getting picked up by an independent publisher, and now they've got even further funding from the Epic Games Store being exclusive. But the Raw developers didn't do this, and they are already running late on actually showing proper gameplay rather than this hyper version trailer made out of just assets. The last Kickstarter update was made on 12th July as developers announced plans for a gameplay demonstration video based on community requests for raw unedited footage. They say they've been working on the game full time for 2.5 years, while emphasising how few days they've taken off in that period. Overall, we've spent approximately €10,000 at this moment, and it's a big amount of moment when you don't actually have any income for the last 2.5 years. We understand this all sounds like excuses, but we're trying to be honest with you. You've probably seen Shroud as well as a whole host of other commentating YouTubers talking about this game just not being realistic and not really to trust what these devs are doing. Big Fry TV is someone that I respect a lot on these type of games with his opinion, and I'm pretty sure from looking at his Twitter he's doing a video talking about it more in depth. The Kickstarter says that most systems already finished and that the Kickstarter funds are going towards hiring more programmers and 3D modelers, but they also still need to get an office, purchase hardware, software, a motion capture system in the future, plus pay taxes, which should be around 30 to 40% of raised funds. So regardless of how they're going about it and whether or not this is actually something that can be sustained, the Raw devs have certainly not got off to a great start in terms of perception. Maybe they should have put their goal as something like 3 million and we'd be all sitting there going, it still looks amazing, I can't wait to play this finished, basically GTA Online clone. But by having such a small goal, it really does look more like a cash grab rather than actually something that's sustainable and actually meaningful. They're talking about having demonstrations of their new gameplay video, and supposedly they're going to have a brand new trailer tonight or tomorrow morning showing the unedited raw footage or something along them lines. There has been delays with this gameplay footage already, and the reason they've stated is because they want to make sure it's there and it's showing exactly what they want to show so that you've got more trust in them. So I haven't really covered this game that much. I am into survival games, I am into open world MMOs like these, but I actually steer clear of a lot of Kickstarter games because I like to see that they're progressing nicely. In fact, on my channel, the only 2 games I've really ever covered have been Dead Matter and Outer Wilds. Kickstarter can be great and there are some fantastic stories of games that have come through this way, but it is littered with many failed projects that have just literally burned through the money they received. So rip all them people that wanted a proper multiplayer online game that was very much styled on GTA. Looks like you're going to be waiting a little bit longer. At least everyone that pledged some money is going to get it back. And if devs are really that passionate, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to find a way to get more funding. But I personally would not go near these guys until they've got a confirmed reputable publisher. There you go, I'm JADE-PLAYS-GAMES. I'll give you news about survival games, MMOs. Let me know what you think about Raw. Was it always too good to be true? Are you sitting there crying in the corner? Or are you just nodding your head going, yep, pretty much figured this would happen. Until next time, ratbags, laters.